to the RunRX podcast, where we talk about all things running. As many runners know, it's 90% mental. So join Coach Valerie and Coach Caroline as we go through the mental side of running. Hi, and welcome back to another Tough Love Tuesday. This one's going to be a little short and sweet, and it's hopefully going to be something that maybe you recognize from previous episodes, and if not, that's fine too. What I want to talk about is this idea of it's taking too long. How long is it going to take? We get this question so often in the membership of, I'm having to think about everything. This is so hard. How long is this going to take? And it always kind of makes me chuckle because we think that because it's running, and this is something we've maybe been doing for years, that this learning a new movement shouldn't take so long. But I want you to think back to maybe when you first started riding a bike. How long did it take you to find your balance on the bike? How long did you use training wheels if you had it? And then once you did get on the bike, how long were you able to ride? How long did it take you to be able to ride without your hands, right? How long did you take you to be able to maybe go uphill or be concentrating no matter where you were going? All those things that have to do with riding a bike. But let's also take that into driving. When you learned to drive, remember how you started? You had to do everything. You checked everything. Everything was awkward and weird. And if you're old like me, I want to even challenge you to remember what it was like to do a manual car, right? Using the clutch and the gas so that you didn't grind your gears, right? These were all motor skills that you had to put together. You had to be aware of your surroundings. You had to hear the motor. You had to sense when to shift gears, right? All of this didn't come to you in a session that was only 6 hours long. It didn't come to you after listening to a bunch of podcasts or reading a book. You went through probably 3, maybe 6 months of training within a simulation environment with your teacher. Then you went into an outside environment with your parents possibly, or a mentor that was helping you learn to drive in real world environments. And then you even were put onto a probationary period where you couldn't drive with like friends. At least in the United States, that's how we do it. We take, each state is a little different, but you go through a probationary period where you have to be like by yourself and concentrating as you learn to drive. So I think it's really funny that we are cool at 16 or 18 whenever you learn to drive, with it taking 3, 6, even 12 months to be able to eventually drive. Because now you're like, oh yeah, I can totally drive. That's not a problem. I can go months, even a year without driving and still be able to get into a car and drive. And I might be a little awkward driving in another country where maybe things are on the other side, but it probably wouldn't take me long to figure it out and be able to do it. So I want you to realize that that's the same with learning a new skill like this new way of running, okay? So I want to challenge you that this isn't taking the old way of running and just tweaking it. You're literally learning an entirely new movement. And with it, you're going to learn possible other movements like squats, lunges, things like that maybe you've been doing wrong all along. And that's been contributing to your injuries, right? You could be doing other things as you're weeding in the garden that are affecting your body, that's affecting your running. Maybe you pulled your back out. So when you're running, you're leaning back or you're leaning forward to compensate for pain in your back, and that's affecting your run. So now as you're trying to drill and learn to hold yourself in that stable position of ears, shoulders, hips, you can't do that anymore, or you're not doing it because of a pain that has nothing to do with running. So I really want you to try to get out of that mindset of how long is this going to take? Is this always going to be this hard? Because it won't always be this hard. You just need to concentrate now to make sure you're doing the right movement while you're drilling. The other thing I wanted to bring up was something that I thought was really interesting. As you know, I've been with Valerie for a little over almost we're going on 3 years, almost 4 years now. And I've been to quite a few of her clinics, and I've watched her clinics, and I've watched her teach over and over and over again. And this clinic that we did this weekend in Dallas, I usually don't stay for the whole thing, but I was there for the second day, which was the track workout, because I needed to get some additional video of it. This was the first time I actually saw in our students what she'd been talking about. Every time I've looked at our students do things, and she'll say something like, you're not in pose, right? Or you're not on the ball of your foot, or your pull isn't right, and she'll correct them. And it's a nuance that I just couldn't see before, and this weekend I saw it. And it really made clear to me that until you're ready to understand what you're doing, you won't see it. Okay, it just won't happen. I just love the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I've been watching other people run. I've been watching the gait analysis. I've been watching these clinics, and I couldn't see what she was seeing. I couldn't see the hunched over shoulders. I couldn't see the pushing off that people are doing when they're trying to do a change of support. I couldn't see how the ball of foot hops, how they were landing without actually, like, I love how she always says, be good to the ground and it'll be good to you. So I just wasn't getting it until I really looked this weekend. And it was amazing to me. It was like looking at one of those pictures, and I can't even do this, those pictures that look like a bunch of dots and a bunch of colors, but if you look at it a certain way and kind of cross your eyes, it becomes a dolphin. I've never been able to do that. But that's seriously how I felt. I felt like I was looking through my phone at these images, at these people moving, and suddenly it became so amazingly clear to me. And so I want to just challenge you that, now I'm not doing this every single day, guys. So this isn't 3 years of daily work. This is like 3 years of monthly work of me watching people, right? So if you culminated that, those 3 years of watching people monthly, and let's take out a couple of months for holidays and sicknesses, and just say for 35 months I've watched her do things. That's like 30 days if I were doing that every single day. Okay, so if I told you I need you to spend 30 days, or in the case of the membership, a minimum of 12 weeks immersed in this process, and just give me 12 weeks of trust and concentration and focus on your movement, and I promise you it will get to where you don't have to think about it anymore. Okay, that's all we're really asking. So if you can't do that, remember we have the 30-day reboot that's on YouTube. We have this podcast. You're welcome to send us questions. You can send it to support@runrx.fit. You can also go live or watch Valerie go live every Wednesday. You can ask her a question if there's something that's unclear, or you would like her to show you something. You can ask the question, and she'll go live on the Facebook every Wednesday to give you an answer to your questions. So we have a plethora of free opportunities to work with her and to learn this method. But if you really, really, really want to learn this, then you have to come into the membership. I can't stress it enough that having somebody watch you run, having you evaluate, be able to be on these Zooms and watch other people move, you're going to get the same aha moment I did. You'll suddenly see, as she's correcting somebody in the group, what you were doing and why it felt different for you. So I hope that you will give yourself some compassion as we go forward this week, and realize that you're right where you need to be. And if you're not seeing it and you're not feeling it, you have to keep practicing. You have to keep your mind open. And remember, it's just like driving a car, right? It's going to take time, but eventually you're going to be able to go out there and run and not even think about it. It's just going to be a joy. So I'm really excited for you, and hope to see you next week. Thank you for joining us on the RunRX podcast. If you'd like to know more, join us at www.runrx.fit. And if you have additional questions that you'd like answered on the podcast, email us at support@runrx.fit.